Many Zimbabweans I spoke to while in Harare covering the elections said they want change. They want jobs. They want the economy to improve. And a number of them in the capital were rooting for the best man to win, citing that the most important thing is reaching the goal of economic development for Zimbabwe.
My concern is only the economical situation in Zimbabwe. It has to improve. Most of the people, if you look at it, most of the people in Zimbabwe, especially the young ones, are not going to work. They are unemployed. Some of them are educated, but there are no jobs for them. So it has to improve somewhere, somehow.
I am optimistic that there will be change in Zimbabwe, because of late, even if it means our current president wins, I've observed that he's been making good progress. We've seen progress in our infrastructure, and yeah, business-wise, if you talk to the business community, they'll tell you that so far it has been easy to come up for other investors to come in. Although the change has not been very visible, but we believe that even if he wins, there'll still be change in Zimbabwe.
I hope, my hope is we better have an industry. If we have industry, then people can go to work, even children can go to school. And the stop of use of plastic money. Right now we are being double paying tax because the government is taking tax. And somebody from who is just seated in an eco-cash as an eco-cash agent is taking 30%, which is more than the government is getting from my pay. So that should stop.
If Chamisa wins, yes, it will be change, but we really be expecting him to take serious consideration in the economy of Zimbabwe. In looking at the masses, how people are living, people down there, they are suffering, and the voice, no one is listening to that. So maybe if you start working from the grassroots, going up, I think it will be better for us. If Mnangagwa wins, well, change is change. The fact that it's no longer Mugabe, to us, is change. What we are really worried about is not who is in office, but what they'll be doing in office is what we are worried about.
This election must bring change in terms of employment, in terms of our infrastructural development, economic. For the past 38 years, our country have been dying. So we expect change.
While Zimbabwe tries to calm frayed nerves in this impending political crisis, my colleague in South Africa, Betsy Dibia, spoke with Zimbabwe political analyst Limukani Hadebe on the root problem in Zimbabwe and what needs to be done to correct it.
You've got an opposition party that is made up of youth, predominantly youth, and you've got a ruling party that is made up of the old guard. And those two, they do not agree, because you've got the elders requesting that the youngers must respect them. But the young generation is saying, no, in 1980, when you guys took power, you were also as young as we are today, probably even younger. So now when you look at it, you say, at first, somebody else trusted you, allowed you to run with it and see where we are today. You understand? Now, give us a chance to take the baton stick and run with it. We appreciate everything that you guys have done in the past. We appreciate your contributions, but now we want to take this country forward. Help us to do so.
Let's look at the ethnic divide. Let's see the major ethnic groups, the Shonas, the Ndebeles. Shonas have been in charge all along. The Ndebeles feel like victims. They feel like the lower class citizens in the country. Yes. Do you see them rising above the scenario to effect change in the country?
I fall under the minority, the Ndebele people, the victims of Kukuraundi. You see, and it's as much as I would like to look at it and say we have transcended that. I feel like the pain still remains.
It does.
The fact that the government does not want to acknowledge their role in the massacres the murders that happened in the 80s, which left a lot of people dead, and also the fact that in all the years of the Mugabe rule, Matabeleland was alienated.
The priority areas for whoever wins, in order to see a more vibrant, a more unified, a more developed Zimbabwe. I will see the millions here start heading back home.
Okay, so I think the priority should be, how do we get the economy running? We've got a very unique economic situation. We do not have a currency of our own. We've got the lowest trade in the world at the present moment. And surprisingly, we're not even experiencing a form of war. So we really need to look deep into ourselves and say, what is it that we need to do? We've got industries that are lying idle, industries that are not functioning, that could be functioning right now and creating jobs. We do not have a shortage of water, which is a natural resource. I mean, we could be building a lot of industries on the backdrop of that. So at the end of the day, there is so much that could be happening. We could revive our mining. We could further innovate our farming activities. We are not a lazy people. We are a people that can navigate any space and survive. There are millions that left Zimbabwe with degrees and whatnot kind of qualifications. Some of the guys are begging on the streets. Some of the guys are waiters that are serving people at restaurants. Some of the guys are even working on construction sites. But, with all that in mind, it shows you a character of a people that can work. So as a people, we can still go back home without patronizing each other, set a goal and achieve as much as we can. My advice is, please think about building. We don't want fake promises. We don't want fake investment calls. We know that investors, they come to Africa to make money. They don't come to Africa to help us get ahead. They see it as an area where they can bring their money so that they can get a quick buck out of it. Yes, you see. So at the end of the day, they can say, we're giving you 4 billion. But essentially, is the media telling us that they are saying they're giving us this 4 billion, but they want it back as 6 billion in such a period of time? And that affects the salaries that are paid to government workers. That affect, because another thing is, it's a game of numbers. Somebody says, I've got a public sector that employs 200,000 people. That means from each and every one of them, I can take $100 and advance it towards that repayment of that investment of yours. And at the end of the day, it affects us, because as ordinary citizens, we're not going to understand why our salaries do not increase. But when we always read about these investments that are coming in, and we don't get to see, the positive role that they do in our societies. Yes. So we really need to look into that.
When we come back after the break, we'll take a listen to what African observers of the Zimbabwe election said about the country's first harmonized polls. Stay with us.